Hello YouTube, Otaku here. I'm going to be your personal narrator. We're going to be getting back into page 385 of The Grapes of Wrath. Now, if you've been onto this channel before, please get your equipment ready. And if you haven't been onto this channel before, please go read the channel description before you continue on to get a better idea of who and what this channel is going to be for. But if you have been here before, grab your eucalyptus and your equipment and let's begin. Yeah, I could feel myself, the strain of the challenge in continuing this effort, and it's all part of the discipline that is required in order to overcome any task. I'm sure billions of people felt this throughout the lifetimes before me. You know, we currently got 7 billion people. I'm sure the last 7 billion people before us were stressing out just as much about the challenges they were facing. So I have no room to complain. Besides, Adam, you better toughen up, because this ain't really anything to sneeze at compared to what is actually going to be the challenges we come to later on in life. But enough about that. I took my 2 minutes of giving my conversation with y'all. I appreciate y'all's attention and patience, company, and all sorts. Thank you for being alive to make it to this video. Let's begin. Yes, sir. So please, do not forget your waters. Even if I don't drink as much water as I should be, please do not forget your own hydration checks. These sessions do get intense. Let's do this. Didn't we just talk with somebody? Like, isn't there a gentleman we're supposed to be talking to? Or am I tripping? I'm just gonna pick up where we last left off. Yeah, right here. The radiator bubbled and hissed in his steam. "Did you fill her up?" ? Tom asked. "Yeah, wind's kind of behind us. That's what makes her boil." It's an awfully nice day," Tom said. Used to work there in McAllister and think all the things I'd do. I'd go in a straight line way to hell and gone and never stop nowheres. Seems like a long time ago. Seems like years ago I was in. There was a guard. Made it tough. I was gonna lay it in for him. Guess that's what made me mad at cops. Seems like every cop got his face. He used to get red in the face, look like a pig. Had a brother out west. They said used to give fellas parole to his brother. And then he had to work for nothing. If they raised a stink, they'd get sent back for breaking parole. That's what the fella said. "Don't think about it," Ma begged him. I'm gonna go lay in a lot of stuff to eat. Lots of flour and lard." "Might as well think about it," said Tom. "Try and shut it out and it'll whack back into me." There was a screwball. Never told you about him. Looked like Happy Hooligan. Harmless kind of fella. Always was gonna make a break. Fellas all called him Hooligan. Tom laughed at himself. Hooligan. "Don't think about it. Don't think about it," Ma begged. "Go on," said Al. "Tell about the fella." "It don't hurt nothing, Ma. It don't hurt nothing, Ma," Tom said. "This fella's always gonna break out. Make a plan, he would, but he couldn't keep it into himself. and pretty soon everybody knows it, even the warden. He makes the break and they take him by the hand and lead him back. Well, one time he drew a plan where he's going over. Of course, he's showing it around and everybody keeping still, and he hide out and everybody keeps still. So he got himself a rope somewheres and he, page 386, goes over the wall. There's 6 guards outside with the great big sack, and Hooligan comes quietly down the rope and they just hold the sack out as he goes right inside. They tie up the mouth and take him back inside. Fellas laughing so hard they was dying. But it busted Hooligan's spirit. He just cried and moped around and got sick. Hurt his feelings so bad, cut his wrist with a pin and bled to death, 'cause his feelings was hurt. No harm in him at all. They all kinds of screwballs in stir. Just don't talk about it anymore, Ma said. I know pretty boy Floyd, Ma. He wasn't a bad boy, he just got drove into a corner. The sun moved up towards noon and the shadow of the truck grew lean and moved under the wheels. Must be Pexley up the road. Seen a sign a while back. They drove into the little town and turned eastward on a narrower road, and the orchards lined the ways and made an asshole. Hope we can find her easy, Ma said. That fella said the Hooper Ranch sends anybody will tell us. Hope there's a store nearby. Might get us some credit. With 4 men working, I could get a real nice supper. And they'll give us some credit. Maybe a big old stew, maybe. And coffee, said Tom. Might even get a sack of drum. I ain't ever had no tobacco on my own for a long time. Far ahead of the road was blocked with cars, and a line of white motorcycles had drawn up against the roadside. Must be a wreck, Tom said. And then he drove near a state policeman in boots and Sam Brown belts, stepped around the last parked car. He held up his hand and Al pulled to a stop. The policeman leaned confidentially onto the side of the car. Where are you going? ? Al said. Fella says there was work picking peaches up the way. Want to work, do you? ? Damn right. Okay, wait here a minute. He moved on to the side of the road and called ahead. One more. That 6 car's ready. Better take this batch through. Tom called, Hey, what's the matter? The parole man lounged back. Got a little trouble up ahead, don't you worry. You'll get through, just follow the line. There came to a splattering blast of motorcycles starting. The line of cars moved on and the Joel truck last. 2 motorcycles led the way and 2 followed. Tom said uneasily, I wonder what's the matter. Maybe the road's out, Al suggested. Don't need 4 cops to lead us though. I don't like it. The motorcycle ahead sped it up. The line of old cars sped it up. Al hurried to keep him back of the last car. These here's is our own people, all of them, Tom says. I don't like this. Suddenly, the leading policeman turned off the road into a wide graveled entrance. The old cars whipped after them. The motorcycles roared their motors. Tom saw a line of men standing in the ditch beside the road, saw their mouths open as though they were yelling, saw their shaking fists and their furious faces. What the fuck is happening? Hold up. What is happening? A shrouded woman ran towards the cars, but a roaring motorcycle stood in her way. A high wire gate swung open. The 6 old cars moved through the gate close behind them. The 4 motorcycles turned and sped back in the direction from where they came. And now the motors were gone. The distant yelling of the men in the ditch could be heard. 2 men stood beside the gravel road, each one carrying a shotgun. One yelled, Go on! What the hell are you waiting for? The 6 cars moved ahead, turned a bend, and came suddenly to the Peach Camp. There were 50 little squares, flat-roofed boxes, each with a door and a window, and the whole group in a square. A water tank stood high on one edge of the camp, and a little grocery store stood on the other side. And at the end of each row of square houses stood 2 men armed with shotguns and wearing big silver stars pinned to their shirts. The The 6 cars stopped. 2 bookkeepers moved from car to car. Want to work? Tom answered, sure. But what is all this? That's not your affair. Do you want to work or not? Sure we do. Name? Joel. How many men? 4. Women? 2. Kids? 2. And all you could work? Why, I suppose so. Okay. Find house 63. Wages 5 cents a box. What the fuck? 5 cents? No bruising fruits, alright? Move along now. Gotta go to work right away. The cars moved along, and on the door each square house a number was painted. 60, Tom said. There's 60. Must be down the ways. There's 61, 62. There she is. Al parked the truck close to the door in the little house. The family came down from the top of the truck and looked in bewilderment. 2 deputies approached. They looked closely into each face. Name? John, Tom said impatiently. Say, what is this here? One of the deputies took out a long list. Not here. Ever seen these here? Look at this here license. Nope, ain't got it. Guess they're okays. Now you look here. We don't want no trouble with you. Just do your work and mind your business. You'll be all right. The 2 turned sharply and walked away. And at the end of the dusty street there came on 2 boxes, and their position commanded the length of the street. Tom stared after them. They sure do want to make us feel like at home. Ma opened the door of the house and stepped inside. The floor was splashed with grease. In one room stood a rusty tin stove and nothing more. The tin stove rested on 4 bricks, and its rusty stovetop went through the roof. The room smelled of sweat and grease. Rosa Sharon stood beside Ma. We gonna live here? Ma was silent for a moment. Why, sure, she said at last. It ain't so bad. Once we wash it out, get her mopped. I like the tent better, the girl said. This got a floor, though, Ma suggested. This here wouldn't be leaking when it rains. She turned to the door. Might as well unload, she said. The men unloaded the truck silently. A fear had fallen on them. The great square of boxes was silent. A woman went into the street, but she did not look at them. Her head was sunk, and her dirty Granham dress was frayed at the bottom in little flags. The pall had fallen on Ruthie Winefield. They did not dash away to inspect the place. They stayed close to the truck and stood close to the family. They looked forlornly up and down at the dusty streets. Winefield found a piece of bawling wire and bent it back and forth until it broke. He made a little creak of the shortest piece and turned it around and looked into his hands. Tom and Paul were carrying the mattresses into the house where a clerk appeared. He wore khaki trousers and a blue shirt and a black necktie. He wore silver-bound eyeglasses and his eyes through the thick lenses. Honestly, I need a drink. 389. I need a freaking drink. Ooh, deep into this we are. We're less than 100 pages from finishing this book, and honestly, I started this book on page 80. I'm gonna have to go back and finish those 80 pages at least if I want to feel accomplished with this. I'm gonna finish this page and then I'm gonna smoke. Tom and Paul were carrying mattresses into the house when a clerk appeared. He wore khaki trousers and a blue shirt and a black necktie. He wore silver-bound eyeglasses, and his eyes, through the thick lenses, were weak and red, and the pupils were staring little bull's eyes. He leaned forward to look at Tom. I want to get you checked down. How many are you going to work? Tom said. There's 4 men. Is this here hard work? Picking peaches, the clerk says. Piecework. Give 5 cents a box. Ain't no reason why the little fellas can't help, though. Sure not, if they're careful. Ma stood at the doorway. Soon as I get settled down, I'll come out and help. We got nothing to eat, mister. Do we get paid right off? Well, no. Not money right off, but you can get credit at the store for what you got coming. Come on, let's hurry, Tom says. I want to get some meat and some bread into me tonight. Where do we go, mister? I'm going out there now. Come with me. Tom and Paul and Al and Uncle John walked with him down the dusty street and into the orchard. And among the peach trees, there were little globes of gold and red on the branches. Among the trees were piles of empty boxes. The pickers scurried about, filling their buckets from the branches, putting the peaches in the boxes, carrying the boxes to the checking station, and at the stations where the piles of filled boxes waited for the trucks. Clerk waited to check against the names of the pickets. Here's 4 more, the guide said to the clerk. Okay. Ever picked before? Never did, said Tom. Well, pick carefully. No bruised fruit, no windfalls. Bruise your fruits and you won't check out. There's some buckets. Tom picked up a 3-gallon bucket and looked at it. Full of holes on the bottom. Sure, said the nearsighted clerk. That keeps people from stealing them. All right, down in that section. Get going. The 4 Joels took their buckets and went into the orchards. They don't waste no time, Tom said. Christ almighty, Al said. I'd rather work in a garage. Paul had followed docilely into the field. He turned suddenly on Al. Now you just quit it, he said. You've been a hankering and a complaining and bull blowing. You get to work. He ain't so big, I can't lick you yet. Al's face turned red with anger. He started to bluster. Yeah, he started to bluster. Tom moved near to him. Come on, Al, he said quietly. Bread and meat. We gotta get 'em. They reached for the fruit and dropped them in the buckets. Tom ran at his work. 1 bucket full, 2 buckets full. He dumped them in a box. 3 buckets. The box was full. I just made a nickel, he said. He picked up the box and walked hurriedly to the station. Here's a nickel's worth, he said to the checker. The man looked at the box, turned over a peach or 2. Put it over there. That's out. I told you not to bruise them. Dump them out of the bucket, didn't you? Well, every damn peach is bruised. Can't check that one. Put them in easy, and you're working for nothing. Why, God damn it. Now go easy. I warned you before you started. Tom's eyes drooped sullenly. Okay, he said. Okay. He went quickly back to the others. Might as well dump what you got. Yours is the same as mine. Won't take 'em. Now what the hell? Al's begun. Gotta pick easier. Can't drop 'em in the bucket. Gotta lay 'em in. They started again, and this time they handled the fruit gently. The boxes filled more slowly. We could figure something out, I bet, Tom said. If Ruthie and Winefield and Rosa Sherry just put them in the boxes, we could work out a system. He carried his newest boxes to the station. Is this here worth a nickel? The checker looked him over, dug down several layers. That's better. He checked the box and just take it easy from now on, yeah? Tom hurried back. I got a nickel, he called out. I got a nickel. Only got what they did 20 times for $1. They worked on steady towards the afternoon. Ruthie and Winefield found them after a while. You gotta work, Paul told them. You gotta put the peaches carefully in the box. Here now, one at a time. The children squatted down and picked the peaches out of the buckets, and a line of buckets stood near from them. Tom carried the full boxes to the station. That's 7. That's 8. 40 cents we got. Get a nice piece of meat for 40 cents. The afternoon passed. Ruthie tried to get away. I'm tired, she whined. I gotta rest. Okay, I gotta rest. Yeah, right there. Page 391. Just gonna get a quick smoke on. right there where you're at, said Paul. Uncle John picked slowly. He filled one bucket to two, and Tom's pace didn't change. In mid-afternoon, Mom came truggling out. I would have come back before, but Rosa Sharon fainted, she said. Just fainted away. You been eating peaches? She said to the You been eating peaches? She said to the kids. Well, they'll blast you out. Ma's stubby body moved quickly. She abandoned her bucket quickly and picked into her apron. When the sun went down, they had picked 20 boxes. 20 boxes? What is that, $2 worth? Ugh. Yeah, no, that's $1 worth, I think. I'm tripping. I don't know. $1. Yep, there it is. Tom set the 20th box down. $1, he said. How long do we work? Work till dark, long as you can see. Well, can we get credit now? Might ought to be able to buy some stuff to eat. Sure, I'll give you a slip for $1 now. He brought out a strip of paper and handed it to Tom. Hell yeah. He took it to Mom. Here you go. You can get $1 worth of stuff at the store. Mom put her bucket down and straightened her shoulders. Gets you the first time, don't it? Sure, we all get used to it right off. Roll on in and we'll get some food. Ma said, What do you like to eat tonight? Meat, said Tom. Meat and bread and a big pot of coffee and sugar in it. Great big piece of meat. Ruthie wailed. Ma,